for his new performance, we are going to be interviewing esteemed actor, Christopher McGhee. I've been waiting to meet you. Waiting to get you in this seat. There's many other actors before you have been in. So I just want to dive straight. I would need to know as much as I need to know about this performance.
That's completely fine.
So what I'd like to know straight away from this performance is, can you tell us who you play?
Okay, I feel as if I can confidently, because a lot of the time you want to keep a lot of the performance sort of not a secret, but you want to hold back some information for the audience. However, my characters have been explicitly used throughout the promotion. So I play Sigmund Freud, who hosts a cocktail party in the 1920s, and some esteemed guests from around that period attend, and some madness ensues. I do also play a few other characters, one of which is Charlie Chaplin, but I'm afraid that's as far as I can go with it.
Okay. Sigmund Freud's a big character. Everybody can appreciate that. Could you tell us and the audience how you characterised Freud without going over the top? I can imagine it'd be very easy to do that.
Well, one of the things that I guess I'm sort of grateful for now is the fact that this piece of theatre is entirely devised. We have a great cast. Honestly, such a creative group of people. So I was humbled and lucky enough to be able to be in that surrounding environment and sort of pitching ideas and in that sort of agglomerate of here's an idea, and everyone's sort of influencing each other and helping. One of the other things as well was we had great direction. So we started with some devising techniques such as round by through, which is essentially just this is real physical theatre technique. So you would have a partner, and essentially you would use movements either going around them, going beside them, like by them, or through, so under legs, and over, climbing over, and that was just a real interesting way to engage with like physicality and obviously dynamics between two people. We also did like a number, like obviously we're strapped for time, so I can't go on and go into like a lot of detail, but we had another technique called sculpting, which essentially partner up again, and then another person would mold your body into like a pose, almost sort of tableau-like, and that was another interesting way just to engage with, I guess, power and dynamics through no movement of your own, and just being a sort of a marionette, if you will, you know.
So were all of your devising techniques, your rehearsal techniques, partner work, or did you do single work, or?
It was a mix. I mean, going back to your last question as well, I think I didn't really answer that as accurately as I could. The way I didn't go over the top, well, the way I hope and I feel that I didn't go over the top with Freud is because we had a great balance between partner work and solo work. Obviously all the partner work allowed me to engage with the physicality and low centre of gravity, soft knees, a lot of that stuff that actors sometimes forget, even something as simple as breathing, you know, using your diaphragm to breathe, all that stuff, being constantly reminded of it through these techniques helped me then to go on into my solo sort of practice, in which I would sort of really engage with the physicality of Sigmund Freud, and I guess the biggest point for me during the devising process was when I realised I didn't have to do a German accent.
Oh, okay. So I imagine that was a relief.
Yeah,
more than anything.
Well, Northern Irish, you know, you can.
It's not something that just comes naturally.
The height of my German accent would be Milli and Vanilli, saying Milli und Vanilli.
Oh, the duo from
of course,
the 90s, yeah. Okay.
You know. That aside, it was a relief to not have to do a German accent, and I guess because the piece has undertones of surrealism, postmodernism, that kind of thing. I don't feel like it takes away from the character the fact that he doesn't have
a German accent.
Yeah.
Okay. So this whole performance, you said it about not having to worry about a German accent. Is there anything else you have to worry about during the performance that would take away? So like you say with Charlie Chaplin, are you going to be having makeup and a moustache, or are you going to be moving like him? Like how have you, again, this is another thing, how did you characterise Charlie? Because I imagine that would have been a world apart from
you're quite right.
Freud.
You are quite right. One of the good things with characterising Sigmund Freud was half physical and half vocal, whereas Charlie, being such a prominent star in the silent era, that was entirely physical. So I had like rigorous training, obviously with our director, was just non-stop, just getting. With Charlie, it was all about starting with getting the feet, then from then progress to the walk, and then to the engaging with various items. So I mean, there's been multiple times where I've like had to pick up inanimate objects and sort of engage with it the way I assume Charlie would.
Yeah.
So
you said about having soft knees for Freud. How would that translate with Charlie with his very stiff, rigorous walk?
Well, the thing is, Charlie's knees would always be bent, but not soft. I mean, it's difficult, but luckily we have worked on the transitions. I mean, one of the difficulties for me, I found, was having to jump from Freud to Charlie immediately. I'm Freud, I'm Charlie, you know? So I feel that through the direction and the techniques that we've used and sort of like the transitions that we've selected, that's the defining moment for the character changes, you know? So it isn't just a lights down, lights up, and I'm a different character. It's subtle, it's more subtle, and it's excuse me, a little bit more surreal. And
so does it happen? Does the character change happen on stage?
Yeah,
on stage.
At no point during the production does anybody leave stage.
Oh, okay.
Obviously until the end.
Until the end, yes.
Yeah.
You mentioned those surrealist undertones. What geared you for that? What research did you do to? Because I imagine encompassing and embodying something as surrealism, something as surreal as surrealism would have been hard. So what geared you towards that?
I guess just research. So one of the tricky parts when you're first setting out to devise theatre is having an aim and a goal and feeling sort of like you're not there yet, or you're not actually where you need to be. And the way we sort of combated that was entirely through research. So anytime we felt like we hit a block, we would either refer back to the devising techniques and use all those physical techniques and create something physical, or we would just throw our heads into some research. And that research ranged from research into the characters we knew we were going to play. So whether it was me reading Freud's interpretation of dreams, or whether it was watching, you know, various Charlie Chaplin films. And I guess when all that research was done, then it was time to move on to like researching the Surrealist movement and André Breton, and then it was Dada, and then you just sort of keep, and the more research you do, the more it affects the dialogue that you bring into the space when you're devising, and it's just sort of like a circle, you know. And
was there any point during your rehearsal process that you thought that you had a block in that circle, and how did you work through it?
Oh, quite a lot actually. Blocks come and go, but I have the mantra that if you don't feel like you're being blocked every now and again, then you don't have a filter, and if you don't have a filter, then your output, you know, can be considered as any old thing, you know. So I feel like if you have a creative block, that's either yourself and you're not creating to your standard, your own perception of your standard of working, or you just don't have the right stimulus to be able to create anything more. And that's where I feel the research came into play. So anytime I felt like I had a block, do some research, I discovered something new, something interesting, this will affect my dialogue, or this will affect my physicality.
Okay, so everything boils down to your research within the movement.
Yeah.
Okay, so we've spoken about your rehearsal techniques and your research. What I'd like to know is the rehearsal process as a whole. So I want to know from day one to today, 2 days before the performance, I want to know. I just want to just fill me in. I want to know direction. I want to know other actors, everything.
So Nicole, our director, from day one, she had this unique approach where instead of saying, "All right, guys," and sitting us down and saying, "This is what we're going to do," she threw all that out of the window. So all of the previous conventions that I had within an acting role in theatre was immediately gone from the get-go. We had a sort of, I guess in a way it was entirely different. It didn't feel like we were doing a production yet. It just felt like we were training. It was like actor training. So we didn't have anything, obviously, because we were devising. So it just was, okay, guys, let's get our fitness levels up. Let's find breath. Let's get all of these bad habits that actors tend to pick up sometimes when they're out of practice. Let's get rid of those. So everyone's blank slate. Boom. And then it was, okay, guys, let's research. And through the research, then we brought some ideas in, and we started to throw about some sort of like the creative juices flow, that kind of thing. And then I guess in the blink of an eye, suddenly we had a piece of theatre, a production. And then when you combine that with the technical assistance that we've had now, we've got an incredible show.
Okay, just going to be my last few questions.
No problem.
My last one. What I'd like to know is, obviously as an actor you've worked with set text, and set text comes with certain limitations.
Yeah.
What I would like to know is how it felt working, you say you devised, how it felt working with no limitations, how it felt working with complete creative control of what you produced.
The thing is, I mean, there's safety in limitation. If you have set paradigms that you can only work to, then you know that, okay, if a stage direction says exit stage right,
that's what you've got to do.
You have to do that. However, when you're devising, there is no safety net like that. So anything that is done intentionally by yourself on stage that doesn't work or doesn't look good is entirely your fault, and that's when you can't say, "Oh, but the stage direction told me." So I mean, there's no safety, but again, it's that challenging element that makes it exciting. And I guess everyone has a little piece throughout this production that they have specifically chosen, and they specifically are a little bit nervous about, and about how that's going to be received by an audience. And I think that's the sort of driving force everyone has when they're devising. Okay, so for example, me and you, in whatever realm, decided that we would go out into the world and devise.
Yeah.
And I said, "Oh, I would quite like to do my death scene rapid, fast, and fall to the floor." And I made that conscious decision in our rehearsal process. And for argument's sake, hypothetically, you said, "I don't agree. I think maybe it should be more slow, painstakingly, sort of awkward as well." You gave me those, and I made the conscious decision to stray away from that and follow my own creative path. On performance night, if that death scene isn't received well, that's entirely down to myself.
The buck stops.
Yeah. However, if it is received well, that's the complete opposite side of the coin.
Yeah.
So it is entirely hit and miss, and I think there's just that element of excitement with devised work.
Okay. And this is my last question.
No problem.
What I'd like to ask is, are you happy with what you produced, and is there any other comments, without revealing too much of the performance, obviously I'm very aware of that. Yeah. Is there any other comments you'd like to say about the performance?
Yeah, well, I'm honestly 100% happy with the performance. I can't fault it at all. Other comments, I guess it would be an awful shame for there to be a couple of empty seats left. I mean, we are sort of running low on tickets, but there are a few left, and I guess when you devise work, it's kind of like you've created like a little child, or like your own little sort of piece, and you want it to be seen by as many people as possible. And I guess if I had any other notes, it would be, come see it, and thank you to anyone that helped, really. And that's it.
Thank you very much for being on the show.
Thank you.